There are several game series and franchises that have amazing anniversary titles and editions. You have the Street Fighter Anniversary Collection, the Mega Man Anniversary Collection, the Age of Empires 4 Anniversary Collection, and even Skyrim, which has been re-released so many times you'd think they'd be competing with Rockstar to break some sort of Guinness World Record or something. Like, at this point, guys, just make 5, 6, just make 6.
Oh, listener, you should see the look on your face.
However, with all the successful anniversary games and anniversary gifts to fans from developers, there is only one that was a complete and total dud. Resident Evil Reverse was not only just a waste of time, and to be honest, I should probably just remove it from my Steam at this point because it's just not looking good on there. I just hate it. It's just like an eyesore at this point. But it felt like it had a lot of high expectations for such a gigantic letdown. Today we're going to be talking about why Reverse is one of the most failed multiplayer shooters in history. It's pretty much just a forgotten game, and it's just going to fall off in obscurity. Like, it's just kind of inevitable. Let's just be honest. Let's just be real with you. It's bad. Yeah, roll them credits. On January 1st of last year, 2022, I received this game for free along with my purchase of Village. And not really understanding what this game was going to be, it stayed on my coming soon list for a long, and if you don't get it, I really mean a long time. It got to the point where I completely forgot about it entirely until about a month ago upon me making this video. Staying consistent with me not looking up anything about Resident Evil games prior to playing, I decided to finally give it a try, and I can safely say it was absolutely not in my best interest. Not at all. As I was aware of it being a shooter, I haven't played one in a very long time, and in fact, most of the games I play these days are now only single-player, story-based games, fighters, and occasional platformers. The last shooter that I probably played actively was most likely Overwatch, so going into this, I could really only rate this from a muscle memory perspective of all the shooters that I played in the past. The Call of Duties, the Medal of Honors, the Killzones, which I like. I love the Killzone games. They were a blast to me in the heyday. And in my conclusion, Reverse is the absolute most simplistic, bare bones shooter that you could possibly have in 2023. Capcom should only skip to With the New Bus because this was not the move at all. Like, this is a bad game. Like, it's terrible. Like, I was just dying of boredom. Not even boredom, just like, why? They really get you with the main menu theme that actually hits as far as the Resident Evil atmosphere, but that's pretty much as far as it goes. The options are pretty much slim to none, being a standard match, a passcode match, which is a fancy way of create a room, humans and creatures, which is just an explanation of the playable characters, battle pass, extras, and game options and settings. I also found it very interesting that within the standard match selection, it seemed like there should be a right and left toggle for another battle setting based on the layout. However, there's no such thing. Most shooters have multiple options to try out, even if you only play deathmatch majority of the time. Whether it's team deathmatches, capture the flag, king of the hill, or anything similar, I feel like it's really necessary for most shooters to have multiple battle settings to last in the long term. It makes me think Capcom possibly rolled this game out without it being completely finished, and just looking at Reverse, I mean, that's probably not too far off, because it seems more of just like an open beta or like a preview game or a closed beta rather than a full-fledged, like, completely finished shooter. Moving on to the player base, it does not actually exist. It is the most dead game that I've ever played online in my life, and I've been playing games for a long time. Reverse is so dead online, it takes the Death Stranding name literally. Upon entering matches, the wait was extremely long, simply because there was no one to place in a deathmatch. It doesn't help that there are only 2 to 6 player matches. To justify this video, I put in about 5 hours, and while I originally was going to put in 10, 5 was kind of all I needed, because it was just really nothing to it. Yeah. Within my hours that I played, I noticed there were a ton of matches that had the same player IDs. Unfortunately, this happened to me for about an hour at a time. So for about an hour of play, I will be going against 2 or 3 of the same individuals in a 6-person match. This is not good for matchmaking. Any multiplayer game, whether a fighter or a team sport such as Rocket League, matchmaking is essential to help build a player. Sticking them in a match along with others that have a similar skill set and abilities mentally helps the player come back for more and get better and better. As I mentioned in my RE2R video, modernization is important to any new player, and as RE2 successfully used this to create a spectacular title, Reverse dropped the ball just by not using any modern feature of ranking systems at all. I mean, and to be fair and honest, they just don't have the player base in general for a ranking system, if I'm being honest. I mean, like, I don't know, man. Like, maybe they do, but it just wasn't enough players, and we're just thinking about this as a gaming perspective, as from a good performance perspective. Yeah, nah, dude. Like, an active player base is the main key priority in any game, especially these days, even for single player titles, as everything is so online based, from DLC to patches to community networks that devs put in place. Upon release, there were only 2 maps available, with the third being included in a later update. While the maps are decently put together, I feel with 4 to 6 players, they aren't well manageable. I don't design games, so, you know, Capcom's looking at me like, what the f do you know, bro? Like, get the f out of here, bro. This ain't you. Like, I mean, that's why, like, game testers exist, I guess, for the most part. I found myself often traversing these maps, not finding an opponent for a while. And with so many dips and corners in this game, it's possible that you just walk past another player without even noticing. This, in my opinion, was a terrible design choice. Reverse also had a thing where it placed the map items in weird places, such as shelves and tables, where you kind of had to run into walls instead of just placing them on the floor like any other regular random shooter. This can affect your gameplay depending on the situation, because running from Nemesis was a constant fucking problem, especially with one-hit kills, which I honestly feel like, to be honest, let's be honest, like, which I honestly feel damage wasn't designed evenly in this game either. Like, there were points in which I'm literally putting headshots into people like 5 times, like 10 times, 12, for like literal seconds, and they still wasn't going down. Yet somebody comes by me, slash me with a knife, I'm dead. I'm like, yo, this isn't. I feel like this isn't even. I feel like this is not an even game, but you know. Once again, what do I know? I did find the creature incorporation cool, but I also feel like it was weird with scoring. Is getting killed subtracts your score. Getting a creature kill may help as well as a revenge kill, but in all honesty, not by much. Creatures do have cool little cutscene kills though, such as Jack Baker's infamous line, "Welcome to the family, son." While we're talking about creatures, Reverse didn't do well in a tutorial. While it's mentioned you can upgrade your monster with the purple vials, there isn't any kind of distinction. There were times where I would get vials or during the match or find them, but stayed the fat molded completely. That's just a weird ass sentence to say. It's a weird sentence. Just a weird sentence. The fat molded, bro. They you know, they can come after Capcom for that. They can come after Capcom for that one. Give it like 5 years. Within the hours I played, I only played Jack Baker twice, and I honestly have no idea how. Believe it or not, there are good points that can be built up in the game. I did enjoy how each character has their own special movesets, even though I'm not really sure why random BSAA sergeants and characters are involved. Like, I mean, I guess you gotta fill out that roster somehow, man. Like, PlayStation All-Stars, I don't know. I personally favorite Jill because of her ability to lay mines, and it provided me with more of a tactical effort. I also found it cool that with in-game currency, RP, you can use RE coins to get you abilities for that specific character. An example of this would be Jill, where you can buy an ability coin that allows her to set more mines during the game, or with Leon, his roundhouse kick can be extended. So I guess we turn to Leon into Luffy. While these are good features, the game doesn't really provide enough incentive. Weapons aren't inherently stronger than starter weapons, but you can just get a cool new design with, you know, little options and use charms, I guess. Characters are just as you use them, but they all have different feels. Ada feels very light on her feet and faster, while Chris Redfield makes you feel like you're back in Newtown. However, while Ada is fast and light, it's very hard to hit her special, which is this leaping crossbow shot. Yeah, I definitely struggle hitting people with that one several times. Actually, I never hit anyone with that at all. It was just a wacky, flimsy ass move, to be honest. It's cool, but it's just super flimsy. And I'm not sure. I'm just not that bad at. I don't remember me being that bad at shooters. Like, you can look at my older Overwatch footage back on Twitch. I don't do Twitch anymore, but I wasn't that bad. I don't remember being that bad. Maybe I'm just rusty, but I don't know, man. I think it's nah. Maybe it's just been some time. Yeah. Your boy just. To conclude, when you look at Reverse, you see a game with a lot of potential and unfortunate design choices and flaws. It has so many elements that can make it special, but those elements may never be built upon. I'm not sure how serious Capcom wanted to be about this game, but as a 25th anniversary title, you kind of would expect more. It leaves players wondering, especially when it comes to the constant delays, should this game even have ever been released in the first place, or could have been better if, you know, a secondary developer came by and just assisted or made the game for Capcom or on Capcom's behalf. From my research, the game's last known update was from January 11th of this year, 2023. The patch notes included a new playable character, K9, the battle pass extended to level 120, which no one's using that. Let's be real, no one's using that battle pass, bruh. New challenge objectives, new cosmetic items, new RE coins, new victory poses, and new weapon charms, but no new design changes and vital features that will bring in a broader player base, in my opinion. Reverse is not a game that's gonna last long, and even the smallest player bases will eventually cease if they're not working on the game consistently or adding patches that for people, you know, for things that people want to see. With even games like RuneScape still getting updates, it shows how much this carries a game's longevity, to be honest. Have you ever played Reverse? If so, what are your thoughts on it? Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? If you enjoyed it, maybe if it was briefly, let me know in the comments. Let me know the thoughts. I want to know how people took this game, because I never hear it ever. It's kind of on those lines of the same lines as being hated as, like, what was it, Resident Evil, like Deadshot, something like that. I can't remember, but I haven't played it. But it's really bad. It's a really bad Resident Evil game that no one likes, but it is what it is. Thanks so much, guys, for coming over to the channel. Special thanks if you made it to the end of the video. Greatly appreciate you. And lastly, be safe out there. SkyMax. Later.
Thanks. When we get out of here, drinks are on me.
Yeah, hey, I know a good bar.